All right, Kate Burness, we welcome you to Winnipeg and Princess Auto Stadium, the start of Week 4 on a Thursday night with the 1-1 Blue Bombers coming off the bye against the 2-0 Edmonton Elks, looking to go 3-0 for the first time in 9 years. Offense led, of course, by Cody Fajardo, and really the most explosive player, Dwayne, so far this season, Justin Rankin. He's been great in the first 2 games.
Yeah, Justin Rankin has been an absolute monster, and we've kind of seen this one coming over the course of the last couple seasons. One of the most dangerous two-way weapons in the Canadian Football League. A great matchup in terms of the running backs here tonight. Both dual threats. Brady Oliveira has kind of been the gold standard in that regard over the last number of seasons, and as you see, a 4-time 1,000-yard rusher.
Mike O'Shea in his 12th season as head coach here in Winnipeg. The Bombers opening with a walk-off win in Calgary before they lost to the Ticats here a couple of weeks ago. And Mark Killam, second year in the Elk sideline after many years with the Calgary Stampeders, and as mentioned, a winning start for this organization for the first time since 2019. The Bombers won the toss. They want the ball to get it started. And so far for Edmonton, no rain after very wet nights, winning in Ottawa and then at home 5 days ago against the Montreal Alouettes. Trey Babel is back with Michael Chrisite for the kick from Vincent Blanchard. Thursday night football in Winnipeg. Week 4 begins right now. Heading down towards Babel, just inside the Bomber 5. Special teams player of the year last year, tripped up just across the 35. Kobe Williams in on the tackle there for Edmonton. Zach Collaros coming on, 14th year out of the University of Cincinnati, and hard to believe his 7th year with Winnipeg.
Yeah, of course, you go back to 2019, Zach Collaros, a late season pickup, having bounced around a little bit in the previous year, replaced after an injury in Saskatchewan by none other than Cody Fajardo. Fajardo went on to a terrific season, MOP finalist. Zach Collaros, a Grey Cup champion that year.
Working with a different center tonight. Dwayne will tell you about that in a moment. On the first down play, faking to Oliveira, wanted to dump it off, but right in his face was the weak side linebacker Joel DeBlanco, so a loss for the Bombers on their first play from scrimmage.
Yeah, Joel DeBlanco starting at the will linebacker spot. You're going to see him kind of time this one up, comes off the edge. Great read for him. Hand in the passing lane, prevents Collaros from getting rid of that one in a hurry. Able to bring him down for the sack.
Loss of 8 yards, so second down and 18 now for Winnipeg in their opening possession of this game. They had the bye, coming off a long break after their 10-point loss here to Hamilton in this stadium 2 weeks ago. On that second and long, 4-man rush, but still pressure. Collaros rolls it out, completes it underneath to Oliveira, but he is tackled well shy of even the original line of scrimmage. So a third and long coming up. Jamison Sheehan will be coming on to punt it away.
And you just get a great sense of second and long, how down and distance just played into the defense's advantage here. Watch, they can leave all sorts of room underneath. We will leave Brady Oliveira alone for the check down because they need so much yardage to get to the first down. Linebackers are able to sit back, help out underneath on the deeper stuff, come forward to make a tackle when they go to the check down. So
a strong start for the Edmonton defense. The punt by Sheehan is a good one. That pushes Javon Lee back inside the Edmonton 20, going to the right. Trying to turn that corner, but a flag is out, and a good return by Leak, but it'll be coming back. Little stiff arm there for the punter Sheehan as he heads out of bounds. And a penalty coming up here for Edmonton on that return.
During the return, illegal block. Edmonton number 81, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Zach Mathis, the one who's flagged for the illegal block. So the return is for naught, and the ball will go all the way back to the 10. And that's where Cody Fajardo and the Edmonton Elks will get started. That offense really kicked it into gear late in the first half against Montreal last week, and then took over in the third quarter. A lot of Justin Rankin. Watch for number 5, the running back. Opening possession Elks. Faking to Rankin, throwing right away. It's caught 2 over the middle. Big first down. Austin Mackwood, a touchdown catch last week in Edmonton against his old team, and a 20-yard pickup.
Yeah, and you talked about the threat that Justin Rankin represents in that backfield. Edmonton starts this game with 6 offensive linemen, fake to the running back. That's going to hold the linebackers down close to the line of scrimmage. Basically, Cody Fajardo's just putting it over the linebackers' heads. Dumping it in there to Austin Mack.
Well, you know the Bombers will be very cognizant of Rankin, who has the ball now. And works it outside for a big pickup right away. Picking up from where he left off against the Alouettes last week as he finally heads out of bounds. And that's at the Bomber 50. Another big pickup for Rankin.
Winnipeg defense packing the box. Justin Rankin just bounces this one to the outside. We know he's a powerfully built guy, but the highlights make it very clear. Speed is a big part of Justin Rankin's game, too. You can't let him get in space.
He ran for 179 on the ground, over 200 total. He had up the catches, and there's another catch. That's TJ Luther. He takes a pop from Major Williams right away. He is still down, but he hung on to the ball, and it's another first down. Edmonton moving right down into the Bombers zone at the 31.
Yeah, you could kind of see this one coming in slow motion, the big crunch from Williams, but credit TJ Luther. He knows it's coming too. It's coming right in his face, but he's able to hang on to the football and get the first down.
The injured player is still down on the field for the Elks.
Doing okay over on that Edmonton sideline after being the victim of what we're going to call a major hit.
Sure was.
Winnipeg DB Major Williams coming off the corner. Lower the boot.
But another good pickup. Boy, they got a great drive going down to the Winnipeg 32. Opening possession in a scoreless tie. Week 4 in Winnipeg. Fajardo to throw again off to the right. And coming back to it is Austin Mack. His second catch so far in this game. We take a look at that Elks starting lineup, 40.
Yeah, along that offensive line, Jordan Murray, one of 3 former Hamilton Tiger Cats, starting on that O-line along with David Beard, Brendan Bordner. And Austin Mack, who's been busy in the early going here. 1,154 yards for him, a career high in 2023 with the Montreal Alouettes. And his quarterback was none other than Cody Fajardo. Those two reunited this offseason.
Well, they've hooked up twice so far this season, one each game for a touchdown, and back to Rankin. A big one, 20+ on his opening carry, and that one he works it down to the 20. Another first down as this Edmonton drive continues.
And taking a look at this Bombers D, Kydra Jenkins had a late season audition with the Bombers, now starting opposite Willie Jefferson at defensive end. Former Edmonton Elk Tony Jones has been terrific at the will linebacker spot, and Evan Holm at the wide side halfback spot. Winnipeg's top defensive player a year ago, led the team with 4 picks.
From the 21, taking to Rankin and swinging it out the other way to Javon Lake. His first touch on offense, and another good pickup to get another first down. It'll be a 1st and goal coming up. This Edmonton offense impressing the way it did in the second half, especially against the Alouettes last week.
Yeah, and what really stands out as you watch the Edmonton offense is how really everything runs through Justin Rankin. This is a guy who over the last season and a half has established himself, as you said earlier, Rod, as one of the most explosive players in the Canadian Football League. The threat that he presents is going to create opportunities for other players. In that instance, it's Javon Leake.
1st and goal from the 5, Edmonton Elks. The toss right to Rankin. Turns it back and works his way into the end zone for the Edmonton touchdown. Just like that for the green and gold. And they take the lead here in Winnipeg. Justin Rankin with his 4th rushing touchdown this season already, and we're early in game 3.
Yeah, you get a great look at the cutback here from Justin Rankin. Remember, he demonstrated the speed on that outside run earlier, threatening the edge. So when he starts going sideways, everybody on defense is flowing laterally. And that gives him a great opportunity to use their momentum against him. Stick a foot in the ground, cut back, find his way into that end zone.
38 yards rushing early on in this one. And Vincent Blanchard with the point after a 7-play, 100-yard drive. Remember, they started at their own 10 after the penalty on the Leak return pushed them back deep. Justin Rankin does it again with Fajardo cheering him on.
things started. Austin Mack a couple of touches along the way, and no surprise, the catalyst offensively for the Edmonton Elks, Justin Rankin. The big run, TJ Luther, terrific concentration to hold on to that one. Misdirection to Javon Leake. Rankin with the cutback finishes it off. 7 plays.
And 6 of them went for first down on that one.
Yes.
Time to hit the bike. Fajardo 4 for 4, by the way, for 62 yards in that drive. So Edmonton football, Trey Babel again in a 7-point hole, and a good return going here. Across the 40, Justin Pace finally hauls him down up at around the Winnipeg 44. Help there from Isaiah Knight as well. So Zach Collaros 1 for 1, but faced a lot of heat early on from that Edmonton defense.
Yeah, right from the opening play, Edmonton able to get to Collaros. So Winnipeg, after a quick 2 and out, looking to reset and restart here.
From the 44. Going to the ground to Brady Oliveira. Heard in the pregame show from Danielle Bain the influence Oliveira's had on Rankin's game as he had studied his style of play. Here's the change we're talking about, 40 with Winnipeg's offense.
Yeah, Pat Neufeld a late scratch from this one, so they shuffle. Tyler Ellsbury moves from center to guard. Tui Eli starts at center in that receiving core. Tommy Neal, free agent acquisition from the Saskatchewan Roughriders, career high in his last outing, 7 catches, 111 yards.
2nd down and 6 after that 4-yard pickup by Oliveira. The pass is caught. It's a first down over the middle to Nick Dembski, the veteran out of the University of Manitoba, gets it all the way to the Edmonton 45 and a first down Bombers.
Yes, they're notably catch number 501 of Nick Dembski's illustrious career. You know, this guy is terrific. Year after year, he delivers, he produces, he fills whatever role the Bombers need him to on offense. And somehow, I feel like he still flies under the radar.
Yeah, it's amazing. I think Zach Collaros has talked about that too, that always thought he was underrated. Play action pass coming up here. And then getting off to the left to the rookie tight end, Dante Daniels. After the catch, Daniels from Windsor out of North Carolina State.
Yes, sir. Dante Daniels, a 2nd-round pick for the Bombers this year. You're going to see him coming in motion. He's going to come across the formation and slip out into the flat. Hailing from, as you mentioned, Windsor, Ontario, tight end city.
Yeah.
By the way, the home of New York Giants tight end Theo Johnson, and of course, Luke Wilson.
I think Luke's got that all tracked. Dante Daniels, ball comes out on that carry. Scooped up though, they blew it dead. Pokey Wilson had come along just to make sure it stayed Winnipeg ball, but after that pickup, it will remain with the Blue Bombers. Not ruled a fumble.
And you'll see why not.
Ooh.
On second thought.
Yeah. Well, no question it's still Winnipeg football, but, well, they blew it dead. Mark Killam, the Elks head coach, looks on at that. So Bomber ball, where the ball came out for Dembski. We got a 2nd and 2 at the Edmonton 17. Oliveira trying to feel his way through, and he does. Another first down. Sticks will move again, and a good response drive here by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
We'll take a quick look at this Edmonton defense as they try to stiffen up against this marching Malik Carney, one of the big free agent signings of the offseason, starts at defensive end, former Ticat and Saskatchewan Roughrider. Brock Mogensen in for an injured Nick Anderson at middle linebacker. Jalen Garnes, 2nd-year man, terrific 2025 season for him. He starts at safety.
In the score zone, and the ball comes out, and a huge hit, and it's in the hands of Mogensen. Taking it all the way back and tosses it back. In the hands of Tyrell Ford, excuse me. And Ford will take it all the way back. Do they rule it a touchdown? No. Tyrell Ford out inside the 3. Well, what a turn of events as the Bombers in scoring position cough it up, and the Elks bring it all the way back. They'll have a 1st and goal coming up. Tyrell Ford takes the pitch from Mogensen, and that was good for about another 30 yards. Oliveira, and he was hit hard by Jordan Williams. All the way back. Elks football.
Get the fumble, wait for the hit from Jordan Williams. D-cleater there, pops the ball loose. He's just going to celebrate. Jordan Williams just going to celebrate. Let Brock Mogensen take care of the first part of the return. And he's going, find me a fast guy, find me a fast guy. Tyrell Ford fits the bill. He's going to race down the sidelines. Zach Collaros slows him down. 1st and goal for the Elks.
Here we are, Rankin trying to break loose to the right. Michael Ayers all over him, tracks him down and takes him down for a loss. Saw a few times against the Alouettes last week. Rankin was able to squirt away. Tough one to bring down, but not that time. Yeah,
give Michael Ayers credit here from his linebacking spot. He's going to make sure that he doesn't allow himself to get outflanked. See how he keeps Rankin. Tries to keep him on that inside shoulder as Rankin starts to accelerate. Gets a half step on Ayers, but Ayers able to keep hands on him, not let him escape to the outside. Terrific defensive play.
So Tyrell Ford nearly had the defensive touchdown. Now with the offense out and a 2nd and goal, but back at the 8 now after the lost yardage. Fajardo into the end zone. No! Intended for Brendan O'Leary-Orange, but a flag is out as well. Evan Holm on the coverage, and he just couldn't hang on. So we'll wait and see what the flag is all about.
Holding Edmonton number 53. That penalty is declined. It will be 3rd down.
So with the drop in the end zone, they choose to decline it and just let the Elks bring the field goal team on.
There you see the toss into the hands of O'Leary-Orange. Evan Holm helps separate him from that football. Slow-mo maybe a little deceptive in terms of how long he had that football.
So Vincent Blanchard is on, 3rd year out of Laval, 7 for 7 field goals this year. 8 for 8, 3 on the board, and a 10-point lead for the Edmonton Elks. Those 3 points off the turnover. The Bombers were answering with Zach Collaros after they'd given up the touchdown. They marched all the way
up, trying to keep his team in that track meet against Bo Levi Mitchell and the Ticats, and along the way continuing to climb the franchise rankings for career passing yards. There you see a couple of great ones just ahead of him, Kahari Jones, and of course the great Ralph Dieterbrock.
It's kind of surprising when you think there's Dieter's name. Remember him back in the 70s and into the 80s as well in Winnipeg and later with Hamilton. But Collaros, 14 years in the league, and this is his 7th. Nearly half the time with Winnipeg. He had that time with the Argos and Hamilton, Saskatchewan as well. And the story he's written here with the Bombers. And throwing again, it's caught, 1st down. And that's Nick Dembski with Jalen Garnes all over him across midfield.
And Nick Dembski, all he does is make plays. Guy who's initially a running back at the start of his college career, made a name for himself as a kick returner before converting full-time to the receiver position. Originally a 1st-round pick of the Saskatchewan Roughriders before coming home as a free agent. An absolute fixture here in Winnipeg now.
And that was back in 2017 before the Bombers went on the run. Speaking of which, Brady Oliveira taking a run and near another 1st down for Winnipeg.
And we'll take a look at the latest Brady Oliveira run behind that big physical Blue Bomber offensive line. Look at the movement, driving everybody to the right side of your screen. Creating an absolute gash there for Brady Oliveira.
He had 8 carries for 32 yards 2 weeks ago in their 2nd game. pickup there. Near a first down. It's fumbled, though. It's Bryce Perkins, the short yardage quarterback, and fumbling the exchange and then trying to lunge forward to get the yardage. That was a second down play. So that works well for Winnipeg, that they didn't lose the ball, and they still have a down to play with if he didn't make it. But he did make it, and it is a first down. All's well for Winnipeg now.
So we saw the big fumble recovery and return from the combination of Mogensen and Ford for Edmonton on the Oliveira fumble earlier, but that is 3 fumbles in this football game already for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Just fortunate to be able to recover 2 of them.
And one of them they had blown dead earlier on. One of the ones that they did recover. Play action pass coming up in a 1st and 10 from the 41. Being chased and throws it away. In hot pursuit was Noah Taylor and Malik Carney in his first year with the Elks, bearing down there on Collaros. And there is Pokey Wilson. Ontario Wilson now leaving the field. One of their wide receivers. One of their top ones too, so
that's certainly a big loss for this Winnipeg team, a guy they really count on for an even bigger role this year, as there's been kind of an exodus from their receiving core over the last couple of seasons.
Second and 10 at the Edmonton 41. Bombers down 10. Collaros under pressure and just has to get rid of it. It falls incomplete. A flag is down. Well, the Elks D line has been getting some heat in on Collaros, but did they get flagged for something here?
Looks like it's going to be a hold.
Yeah, it looks like a holding signal. There's J.C. Sherritt, the defensive coordinator.
Winnipeg number 66. That penalty is declined. 3rd down.
It's the veteran Stanley Bryant, the staples in that Winnipeg offensive line that's changed a lot over the last couple of years, and as Dwayne talked about, a change tonight with the injury to their veteran right guard Patrick Neufeld.
You see Stanley Bryant at his familiar left tackle spot. You know, just holding Brinkman as he tries to fight his way inside.
Sergio Castillo just inside the 49. He's 4 for 5 in the season, and Castillo puts it wide to the right, so Javon Leake takes it out. Leake on the return, and a good one going here. Flag comes out again, and another good Leake return. It happened earlier on a punt, and it looks like it'll be coming back a bit, but Edmonton football, and still no Winnipeg points on the board on the Castillo miss. Now 4 for 6 on the season, and the Bombers will go to work, or the Elks will go to work again on offense with a 10-point lead.
During the return, holding Edmonton number 13, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Penalty obviously negating a nice return from Javon Leake. Castillo, the strongest legs in the Canadian Football League. 4 for 6 by his standards. A little bit of a slow start to this 2026 season, but obviously a small sample size.
Yeah, he's been one of the great ones. Now Edmonton, in a similar situation earlier in the quarter, had to start because of a penalty on a return at their 10. They went all the way, drove down for their touchdown in this game. So final ticks here of quarter number 1. They start deep again, this time at their 5. Up by 10 and whistle dead. Flag comes out.
Time count violation. Edmonton number 7. Half the distance to the goal. Still 1st down.
So they're already starting deep, and now it goes a little bit deeper, down at about the 2.5-yard line with 15 seconds to go until the end of the 1st quarter. What has been predominantly a good 1st quarter for the Edmonton Elks. In a hole here now, in a 1st and 13. Faking the handoff, rolling to the right, and then down to the right, looking for Keon Julian Grant. And a big 1st down here for Edmonton to give them a little bit of a cushion near their end zone.
Yeah, again, taking advantage of the fact that the Winnipeg defense is keying on Justin Rankin. Cody Fajardo with the run fake. Kind of sucks in the front, allows him to get to the edge where he's got a little more time to throw that football, gets him away from those uprights as well. Slinging that one to Keon Julian Grant.
Up to the 19 now, and a 1st and 10 in the last play of the first quarter. And running a draw here to Rankin. He gets tripped up after picking up about 5 more yards, so they'll turn it around and head the other way. Still deep in their zone, but a lot to be happy about the way this quarter has gone. They drove down for a touchdown. They also got a big turnover, a fumble recovery that took points off the board for Winnipeg and set up a field goal. Elks trying to improve to 3-0 and a good start through 1. They lead at 10-0. Defense forcing a turnover and a 10-point lead.
Yeah, terrific start, obviously, for the road team in this ball game. No surprise to see Justin Rankin obviously playing a role, not necessarily just when he has the ball, but certainly influencing what the defense is doing and creating opportunities for his teammates when he's not getting the football.
And Winnipeg, too. I mean, on offense, they have been able to move the football, but the turnovers, the ball security has certainly hurt them. So Edmonton has it, and they started their drive back at the 5. They had one earlier in the game, as mentioned, starting at their 10. They went all the way downfield impressively. In 7 plays, they had 6 first downs. They ended up with a touchdown in that one. And they start the second quarter, continuing this drive up at their own 23. It's a 2nd down and 6. Fajardo always looking off to the left in that one, and it's Josh Cephas, one of the new receivers in the Elks this season, who picks up a catch. That's his 4th catch of the season and the first one of the night and a first down.
Yeah, Cephas lined up out wide in this instance. Just a quick hitter, gets those 2 receivers inside of him, pushing upfield, trying to create a little bit of space for him to work underneath.
Cephas, first year at a University of Texas, San Antonio. Fajardo to the left again, to Cephas again, and pushed out by Major Williams. Another good pickup on first down, but 8 yards, 2nd and short ahead.
Cody Fajardo mixing things up a little bit offensively. Cephas once again lined up out wide, right at that 30-yard line. Wait to see if they try and set something up over on that side after a couple of short balls to Cephas. Maybe try to work something with a double move, getting Major Williams coming forward.
2nd and 3 at the 37, back to Rankin. And a short carry by his standards, but looks like it is enough to move the sticks again. Another first down for Edmonton.
As you say, short one by Rankin's standard as he comes in averaging close to 10 yards a pop.
He worked that one over the 40, about the 41. Yeah, he busted loose for 90 yards in the 3rd quarter alone rushing. Just a ridiculous game against the Alouettes last Saturday at Commonwealth. First down, back to 5. Rankin finds some space. Here we go again. That's another one for Edmonton's Rankin file. Another big trot for Justin Rankin. And they waltz into the Winnipeg zone now with another big first down to the 36 of the Bombers.
Yeah, and you heard Danielle pregame talking about one of the things Justin Rankin has learned from watching Brady Oliveira is patience. This play is a perfect example. Just that delay allows his blocks to set up in front of him. Then once he hits the hole, accelerates. The kind of shifting gears. He's kind of got it in a glide as he's waiting for his offensive linemen to get to their responsibility.
He has 7 carries for 73 yards. Fakes to him, Fajardo looks deep and down near the 5. Keon Julian Grant, they fight for it, and it's his football with Evan Holm right there. Fajardo strikes again to Julian Grant, and we have a 1st and goal, Edmonton.
From an offensive point of view, I love the concentration on this play of Keon Julian Grant because he is in a battle for position as this ball is coming in. But you see him kind of holding off Evan Holm a little bit, but still able to reel in that ball. It's coming in low by the time it gets there. But boxes out the defender, stays with it. Fantastic catch for Julian Grant, who set a career high in receiving yards last year.
Go, first and goal. Fajardo keeps after the fake, and he picks up a yard or two, taken down by Kydren Jenkins there. Fajardo was the one that scored the winning touchdown in overtime to beat the Alouettes last Saturday in Edmonton.
Jenkins is going to make the tackle on this play, but credit Major Williams, who's the guy who forces Cody Fajardo to turn it back in, gets upfield, maintains that contained position, turns him in, which allows the pursuit of Jenkins to get there.
Second and goal at the Winnipeg 2. Elks. Rankin waits. No, they got him. They stuff him up and push him back near the 5. Kyrie Wilson, middle linebacker in there. Cam Lawson as well. And it is now a third and goal coming up here.
Yeah, and here you're going to see that force coming from the middle. Cam Lawson from his tackle spot, middle linebacker. Kyrie Wilson. That defense forces Rankin to chop his feet a little bit. Not an opportunity to bounce it outside. He just wants to get north-south and get to the end zone.
Well, they're between the 3 and 4 yard line, and this is it. Touchdown or bust for Fajardo. Third down, rolling right, end zone look. It is caught, but it is not a touchdown. It is Luther with the ball. He came back for it. And it's a turnover on downs, and a big one for the Bombers, trying to stay in this game. Third down, a little over 3. And Fajardo looks to the end zone for Luther. He caught the ball. And now he's outside the end zone. They say turnover.
Almost touchdown. As you see Luther working back to the football. Actually first makes contact with this one in the end zone.
Just inside.
But you can see didn't catch it cleanly. A bit of a bobble here. And so as he actually gains control of the football, you can see he has now left the end zone. Thus, Roderick Smith, no touchdown.
That close to going up 17. Instead, though, Bombers still down 10, but they start as deep as they can be. For Collaros, the heat was coming. He took a hit, but he gets it off to Daniels. Hurdles, loses the ball, and it looks like the Elks have recovered it. Joel DeBlanco. And again, ball security is a problem for Winnipeg in this game so far, as Collaros made a great play to Daniels. Had the catch in the first down, but lost the handle.
Yeah, preparing to go airborne. Another one where Zach Collaros is under pressure. Got to get rid of the ball under duress. Daniels with a little bit of chip and release to the flat. Looking to go airborne, knowing smaller tacklers are going to go for his legs. You know, but sometimes you'll see on the jump, you lose that ball security as you take the ball away from your body a little bit. That one springs free. Joel DeBlanco, Edmonton's nominee as most outstanding Canadian a year ago, former #1 overall pick with the recovery.
Here we go, and a shot for the end zone right away from the 30 and nearly for Seacon. Jonathan Moxey was right there with him to break that up. But Edmonton looking for the kill shot right away after getting another turnover.
Yeah, you talk about that sudden change. Cephas is just going vertical on this one all the way. Outside release, lay it up there. Pretty well thrown ball from Cody Fajardo. Good coverage from Jonathan Moxey. Looked like that one just past the fingertips of the defender. Cephas unable to haul it in.
Well, the Elks at the 30 of Winnipeg with a chance to add to their lead. And it is caught by Austin Mack inside the 15. So here we go again for the Elks. And a first down deeper into the Bomber zone.
And you talk about throwing the ball into a window. That's exactly what Cody Fajardo does on this one. Anticipating Austin Mack breaking in between those two defenders. Fajardo puts it on the spot for an Edmonton first down.
And it could have been a greater lead, of course. They turned it over on downs right near the goal line of Winnipeg. Fajardo's 10 for 12 for 144. Impressive first half. This Edmonton offense. The whole team impressive first half. Here's Rankin. Gets his way through again and still on his feet. And trying to push his way across the goal line is Rankin. Another brilliant run, showing that patience that we talked about earlier. And it'll be a 1st and goal coming up here for Edmonton again.
Terrific adjustment on the fly in terms of the blocking scheme here from Edmonton. You see on the bottom right side of your screen is the safety, Reddick Cramdy. He's coming on the blitz. So now all of a sudden you've got to account for the safety and the blocking scheme, leave the wide guy. Tackle takes that safety inside to get things taken care of at the line of scrimmage. Justin Rankin does the rest. Create another 1st and goal situation for the Elks.
And Rankin has 9 carries for 84 yards, over 9 a carry, and a touchdown. Cole Schneider, short yardage quarterback, pushing to break the plane. We wait for the signal. There is a flag out as well. And not there. 2nd down coming up, but a flag on the play is mentioned.
It's 9.3 a carry, by the way, Ron.
9.3
yes,
for Rankin.
9.3 repeat for the mathematicians at home.
And coming in 9.1.
Defensive offside. The defensive line did not give a yard. The ball will be placed at the 1-yard line. Still 1st down.
Not 2nd down against the Bombers. So 1st and goal, a little bit closer.
And there you see hands within a yard of the football.
Schneider in, do it again. Straight ahead, pushing, still pushing across. And waiting for a signal along the line. Just had to break the plane. Elks think they have 6 points. They discuss. Second down. Mark Killam, you know what's going on. Have another look here. Does he break the plane?
Schneider on the move. I mean, we can't really see the ball, but realistically,
look at where he is.
Yeah, I mean, unless he lost his footing and a knee touched down early, but
he looks like he's in.
Yeah, I'm as surprised as you are, Mark.
Mark Killam wants an explanation.
The previous play is on automatic review by the replay center.
So they will at least take another look. And as said, from our vantage point, it's hard to imagine that Schneider, keeping his feet, didn't break the plane.
Mark told us on Zoom calls this week that he's keeping his emotions in check. He's trying to tone it down on the sidelines this year.
Let's check out his reaction here.
Upon review by the replay center, it was a touchdown.
Well, staying calm there, even though he gets the good news, and I think he's just thinking, darn right, it's a touchdown.
Yep.
Edmonton got back in goal to go, and that time they do punch it in, and they're in charge in this game. Another look.
That Edmonton offensive line. Fast becoming a strength for this team.
Certainly have been tonight. Blanchard, the point after. You know, they fell behind. Edmonton did 13-0 in the first half last Saturday against Montreal. And since then, that offense has really been rolling. They've taken right into the night. Cole Snyder. It's been a while for the Edmonton Football Club. It was the old Edmonton Eskimos, the last Edmonton team to start 3-0 against the Ottawa Redblacks. And the touchdown there, July 14th, 2017. That long ago. They started 7-0 that year, 40. There's Mike Riley, what a great QB he was. Then they lost their next 6, and then they won the next 5 to finish the season at 12%.
Yeah, got a little streaky that year.
They sure did. But you look at the recent starts and how different this year is looking so far. Even tonight, with a 17-point lead, trying to go to 3-0. The first time since 17. And that's Michael Chris Ike on the return. And there is a flag out on that. Kick return, Bomber football. Collaros back on. A whole lot of work to do here in the second quarter in Winnipeg. The Elks lead the Bombers 17th. Edmonton on the kickoff. And they're going to do a re-kick here. Blanchard letting it go, and a player across the line, Isaiah Knight. So Winnipeg will have another chance on the return. Down 17 points with 6:21 to go until halftime. All Elks so far in this game. Vavel and Chris Ike back to try it all again, and this time from the 25 for Blanchard.
And as you mentioned, Rod, turnovers so much the story in this game for Winnipeg. They've been able to successfully move the football. With ball security and issues stuffing out some drives.
10 points on turnovers for the Elks. Here's Vavel this time. Across the 30 and tackled up around the 40 as that Winnipeg offense will work its way back on the field. That includes rookie offensive lineman Tyler Ellsbury, who had to miss a practice last week for pretty good reason. Let's get out and say hello to Danielle Bain.
That's right, Rod. Tyler Ellsbury recently had to do what all new employees dread doing. Ask your new boss if you could take a vacation day right after you land the role. Now, initially, he thought he'd be in the clear to be out of town during the Bombers' bye week, but once he saw that the schedule had them practicing back on Saturday, he knew he was in big trouble. He went up to his head coach, Mike O'Shea, filled with nerves, said, listen, there's this wedding. I'm really sorry to ask, but is there any chance I could have the Saturday off? He said, you know what, give me the day to think about it. Talk to me tomorrow. The next day comes, he walks into his coach's office, and his coach says to him, well, how important is this wedding anyway? Whose even is it? That's when Ellsbury responded, well, it's actually my wedding. O'Shea burst out laughing and said, why did you lead with that one, Tyler? Of course, the organization and O'Shea were more than happy to get Ellsbury to the altar. He tells me it was a huge success, but the MVP wasn't himself for making the scheduling work. It was his new wife who remained calm through all the chaos.
That's a terrific story. Thank you, Danielle, and congratulations to Tyler. And he's got something going right now along with the Bomber offensive line. Back-to-back, good openings there for Brady Oliveira.
Yeah, Bomber offensive line doing a terrific job. Ellsbury, again, moving to a new position here in his rookie season. He's been the starting center, but with Pat Neufeld out, he bumps over to guard here today.
And another first down. They're across midfield. They're down to the Edmonton 45. Steady diet of Oliveira now, and a shorter pickup that time with Kenny Logan, the nickel linebacker, coming in to stall him there as he picks up a couple of yards. Second and long ahead.
Good response here regardless for the Bombers. Obviously helps when you can start with the ball in the hands of your return team, led by Trey Vavel.
And as said, it was just last Saturday the Elks were in the same position, or a similar one that Winnipeg is in now. Trying to drive late in the half to get back in it. Blitz coming. Collaros gets it away, but nobody home. Closest there is Tim White, and he's on his seat with all that pressure coming in from the blitzing Edmonton Elks.
And the middle linebacker Mogensen coming from the middle. Pardon my sketchy drawing.
They were bringing some heat. It was Logan that got the contact on Collaros. So Sergio Castillo, who missed one earlier from a slightly shorter distance, he'll try this one from the 50, but gets centered up and has the big leg, being put down by Jamison Sheehan, but not like Castillo, as he's missed another one here, and the Bombers are still denied points. And a good return out of the end zone for Leak to keep him off the board. So 0 for 2 for Castillo, and it remains a 17-0 game with 3:23 on the clock till halftime.
Yeah, certainly had enough distance, but second wide right of the ball game, one at each end for Castillo.
And that'll fire up the opposing coach a bit.
Oh, Mark Killam, a longtime special teams coach in this league.
Very animated too on that Calgary sideline all those years with the Stampede. Fajardo handing off Rankin, adding to his totals, getting closer to 100 before halftime. Just pouring it on. He had 84 yards rushing heading into that carry.
And in the grand scheme of a CFL game, as you alluded to earlier in reference to the Elks game last week, lots of time left in this ball game. You just worry a little bit that if Edmonton with a lead and Justin Rankin running the football, can be tough to get back in the game.
Well, they can certainly grind it out with number 5. Got that lead.
I don't want to say we told you so, but it is the Justin Rankin show. Already 91 yards on the ground. And how about a player you love, Enoch?
Mogensen! I see you, boy!
Thank you, Kate. Those linebackers got to stick together, right? Halftime coming up with Kate in the panel. Yeah, talking Rankin, and I'm sure, as they alluded to, some of the turnovers here in this game that have really helped the Elks out. Mogensen, that big return, dishing it off to Terrell Ford. He ended up with a field goal on that one. They got it again, looking for more. Throwing, completing. Keon Julian Grant, third catch, and he's had some nice catches in this game. Yeah, first down, Edmonton.
Yeah, terrific chemistry we've seen between Julian Grant and Cody Fajardo. Again, much like Austin Mack, dating back to their time together in Montreal.
From the Edmonton 30, 2:40 on the clock. Rankin bounces it back inside, trying to make something out of nothing. We've seen this a few times. Last week, late in the first half against the Alouettes, had some big carries after it looked like he was all stuffed up behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, the fact that this play somehow ends up in a 4 or 5 yard gain for the Edmonton Elks. I mean, this is all Justin Rankin. He tries to bounce it, nothing there, cuts it back up the middle, fights through a couple of tackles. And this looked like tackle for loss all the way, but Rankin says nothing doing.
Instead, it's a 5-yard pickup. Below his average, lofty as it is, but still 2nd and 5. And flushed out is Fajardo. Finally does toss it. It is caught by Cephas. As they discussed, he keep the feet in, but looking like another first down coming up here for Edmonton. They try to quickly get up over the ball.
And interesting situation for Edmonton in terms of their lineup and their depth, as we're seeing young American receivers Cephas and Luther doing a pretty good job making some plays for them in the early going. They haven't had a healthy Joe Robustelli yet.
No.
And this is a guy that Mark Killam suggests was probably their best receiver in camp.
Fajardo. Rankin adding to the receiving totals, which have been considerable as well for Justin Rankin coming in, and a few more yards there. 1:56 on the clock.
Yeah, you'll see Rankin just to your left. The quarterback Cody Fajardo. Little check release. Providing an outlet for his quarterback. That's it. He's a guy you have got to deal with numbers. He's going to make one guy miss. You got to rally to the football to try and contain number 5.
He had 145 yards receiving this season coming into this game. Oh, nearly picked off coming in, chasing Austin Mack. And good coverage there, Major Williams. Get in front of Mack, and still Edmonton football, but it's a 3rd down and long coming up with a minute and a half to go.
Yeah, nice jump on the route here. Major Williams to get underneath this one, get hands on it. Nearly an INT.
And the turnover that the Bombers would desperately need here late in the half. But for the first time this game, we see Jake Julian, the punter for Edmonton, and coming in, bouncing off Babel, live ball, and he does get it back. That was dangerous. It bounced off him, and it's DK Benum, Justin Pace coming in, and special teams, and nearly another turnover committed by Winnipeg.
A couple of their draft picks from the last 2 seasons. Benum. And first-year man Justin Pace out of Queens getting in on the play.
From the Winnipeg 30, 1:25 on the clock. Can the Bombers get something on the board before halftime? They run a draw to Oliveira, and he picks that one and takes it over the 35. Joel DeBlanco in his 3rd year, former first overall pick in the CFL draft a couple of years ago.
DeBlanco, with injuries in the linebacking core last year, found his way into the starting lineup, made the most of it. As I mentioned, ended up being Edmonton's nominee as most outstanding Canadian a year ago, and showing no signs of being willing to give up that starting spot now.
2nd and 5 now for Collaros. Gets rid of it, nearly intercepted. In and out of the hands of Kobe Williams. A flag is down. The intended target had fallen down, Tommy Neal. See what this flag is all about. We're under a minute to go until halftime.
Defensive pass interference against Edmonton. It's going to be a 10-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
So it wouldn't have mattered had Williams hung on and got the interception. Winnipeg ball up to the 45 now.
So you're going to see as Tommy Neal makes his break. Williams ties him up a little bit. I think he knew that flag was on him, which is why he wasn't too broken up about the missed INT.
Like, whoops, no point in catching this. Not going to matter, right? 55 seconds. But 17-0 for the 2-0 Edmonton Elks here in Winnipeg. One of 2 West showdowns this week. In Kelowna in a couple of days, it'll be the Calgary Stampeders and the BC Lions. From the 49, under a minute to go. Collaros tried to just check it down to Oliveira, but it just isn't there. And frustration now for this Winnipeg offense as well. 2nd and 10.
When you think about the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, so much of their identity centers around the physicality, the run game involving Brady Oliveira. But the more time that goes by that you're in a multiple score deficit in this ball game, the more pressure you feel to try and make something happen. Start trying to push the ball, you get into the passing situations, which to me so often are defensive advantage.
Collaros throwing again over the middle, caught by Neal right near the first down. 46 seconds on the clock as they get it across midfield into the Edmonton zone. And it will be a 3rd down and less than a yard for the Bombers. Going for it now, of course, in short yardage. He just keeps it, gets the first down. 40 seconds on the clock, still plenty of time. Collaros staying in to carry that one.
And obviously Winnipeg's with the first down is going to take a couple of opportunities to try and move the ball downfield. You're so often thinking as soon as you get in this territory, you're in Sergio Castillo field goal range, but Castillo 0 for 2 tonight.
Collaros facing some heat and tries to get rid of it for Joey Corcoran. Throws that one low. He was about to be sacked as he was going down. Tried to get it to Corcoran, incomplete. 32 seconds, 2nd and 10.
Yeah, and this is awareness of both game situation and field goal or field position.
Incomplete pass. Incomplete pass.
For a veteran quarterback in Zach Collaros. Obviously, if you can avoid taking a sack, you always want to do that. But particularly here, end of the half, you're sort of on the edge of field goal range. You don't want to risk losing any yards. Heads up play from Zach.
Tamari Fox was in on nearly getting the sack. Collaros, more heat, and off to the left to Gavin Cobb. Cobb from Victoria, product of the University of Manitoba, used to play, started his career with Edmonton, gets the catch in the first down with 25 seconds to go. They are in field goal range.
Yeah, familiar field, as you mentioned, for Gavin Cobb. Finished up his university career here as a Manitoba Bison, but one of a handful of guys remaining who started his career at Simon Fraser University in British Columbia.
Starting in the West Coast where he's from, and then some time in Winnipeg. And yeah, you see that angst of Sergio Castillo trying to calm himself down, looking like either possible field goal try to get him on the board this half. Tim White, one of the new additions, the free agent former Hamilton Tiger Cat, has that catch to get them a little bit closer. 19 seconds to go. And down to the 28 of Edmonton.
Yeah, Bombers marching after a bit of a lull through this second quarter.
Throwing again on 2nd and inches, stepping up and slides, has the first down, but really it's the clock we're thinking about now. 14 seconds to go. Sticks move again down to the 25. And comparing the scenarios, you see Castillo again of the Bombers tonight and the Elks before their victory over the Alouettes. They were down 13, but they picked up a touchdown, a critical one, to get them back in the game late in the half. Bombers love to find the end zone. Collaros looking for it. Open receiver. There you go. Touchdown. Tim White. Winnipeg finally gets on the board.
And a huge score for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Before the break, here you're going to see Tim White, part of that cluster of receivers, with Tommy Neal, Brady Oliveira lined up out wide. Just catching the D flat-footed.
Great job, fellas.
He gets in behind.
So here's Castillo for a point after and gets it through. Didn't need him for the field goal. They got the touchdown instead. Much needed, as you say, to cap off a 10-play, 80-yard drive in just a minute and 21 seconds. And this certainly changes the complexion of this game.
Yeah, empty out the backfield. Backs out wide. Good protection up front. It just looked like a little bit of miscommunication. You see Kenneth Logan's reaction on the back end in terms of figuring out those coverage responsibilities. Tim White, longtime Hamilton Tiger Cat, left wide open in the end zone. He and Collaros make no mistake.
Kate, Enoch, Ches, Lapo. A lot to talk about this time around. Not just Brock Mogensen, Enoch. Give the linebacker some love, but there's a whole lot you could say about what's gone on so far, especially Edmonton. But Collaros 10 of 15, 157 on the touchdown pass. It's Isaiah Knight back with Javon Lake, but Fajardo 13 of 16, 164. Rankin 11 carries, 95 yards and a touchdown. Keon Julian Grant 3 catches, 57 yards. Not to mention, up until this last drive, some stellar work by the Edmonton defense as well.
Absolutely. They won't like that last Winnipeg possession, but overall, a good first half on the road for the Elks.
In the hands of Isaiah Knight, it ticks down to 0, just across the 20. So a good first half for Edmonton, trying to stay perfect on the season. And Rankin just keeps that ridiculous start to the season going. But for the home side, the Bombers, with an important answer before halftime and heading to the dressing room with some 7 points on the board. Mentioned Fajardo. A lot of talk about Rankin, understandably, but Fajardo certainly had it going like he did in the second half against Montreal last week. 13 of 16, 164. Cody Fajardo standing by now with Danielle.
Thanks, Rod. Cody, you've seen rain, you've seen sun now, you've seen a bunch of different defenses so far this season. What's been working so well with this offense?
We're very efficient on first down. When you can be efficient on first down in this league, you can stay on the field, methodically move down the field. I thought offensively, we were backed up on 2 drives, drove the whole field. We got to find ways to finish in the red zone, especially in the 5-yard line within. 2 of them where we got stopped, and that's unacceptable. 17-7, this is a hornet's nest. This place is really tough to play, so we got to make some adjustments at halftime, come out firing, because we know Winnipeg, it's going to be a 60-minute game.
Now, recently you told me you think that Justin Rankin could be the first player to hit 1,000 receiving and 1,000 rushing yards in a season. What makes him that guy?
Greatest show on turf. It's fun to watch him every day, the way he prepares, the way he comes out here and leaves it all on the line. It rallies everybody. It gets everyone excited. Everyone wants to play for that guy. We just want to keep going, get the run game going, get the pass game going, and stay on the field and don't turn the ball over.
Thanks so much, Cody.
Thank you.
All right, Kate, you heard Cody Fajardo.
Of course, on the scoreboard, but, and this is something in Winnipeg's favor, momentum at the end of the half. Zach Collaros driving them down to get their first points of the game. Here's Collaros now standing by with Danielle.
Zach, in a first half that could be frustrating for some guys on offense, you're a guy that's seen it all in this league. What's your message to some of those teammates?
I mean, we just got to practice what we preach, you know. We got to play a clean football game, stay on the football field, execute at a high level, and finish our drives. Everybody took turns in that half offensively and making mistakes. We got to be better for our defense and for our special teams.
You look at that last drive before the half. You guys get on the board there. What worked so well specifically that you're hoping to build on?
You know, guys just stuck together. We practice those 2-minute, 3-minute drills every day, and you know, the guys up front did a great job of blocking, and the receivers caught the ball really well.
Good luck in the third.
Thank you so much.
Zach Collaros, 10 of 15, 157 in that touchdown pass late. Brady Oliveira did some good running as well. I mean, 8 carries, 48 yards. And a long one at 12 and helped them out in the drive. It's just the other running back, Justin Rankin, who continues to be on fire. Nearly 100 in this game so far. 11 carries, 95 yards, and a touchdown.
Sort of built this game as a battle between these 2 multi-talented running backs. I think it has largely lived up to that. Certainly Rankin and the Elks offense having an edge through the opening 30.
And they'll have the ball first, but Isaiah Knight sees it go past him, and it rolls into the end zone, and he has to take a knee and give up a point. So the Bombers, who waited until near the end of the first half to get their first points of the game, start the second half with a rouge to make it 17-8.
Yeah, this one just took a funny hop, ducked underneath the hands of Knight, who's back there with Javon Leake on the return team. Second-year running back out of UBC. You see, just took that short skip into the end zone. Knight's going to make the wise decision, take the field position here.
Give up the single, start at the 40. And now with a 9-point lead, the toss. Rankin again, back to work in the second half, and work he does. Nice move back inside for a gain of 11, and just like that, another first down for that Edmonton offense.
Yeah, nice job by the big boys blocking it up. You're going to see the guard pulling with the kick out. Rankin sees that block out, so he's going to cut it back in, makes a couple miss. Moving those sticks, picking up right where he left off.
First play from scrimmage in the second half. He's gone over 100 for the game. 106 now for Justin Rankin. And then they run that hitch to Austin Mack, who turns it up and gets to midfield. He had a couple of catches in that first half. He's had a touchdown in each game so far for Edmonton heading into this one. Gets it across midfield.
That quick passing game, including the slip screen. Austin Mack, as they try to set up a little convoy of blockers out in front of him. Pretty decent job defending that time by the Bombers.
Call that 4 catches, 51 yards for Austin Mack, just across midfield. Opening possession, second half. Edmonton leading by 9. And Fajardo slips through. I don't know how he managed to escape the rush, and he gets it Well, maybe a half-yard pickup for Cody Fajardo, but to no avail, not near a first down. Third down coming up, Jake Julian coming on.
Watch at the bottom of your line, right side of the defensive line, number 5, Willie Jefferson. Watch him use those long arms, explodes them, pushes Brendan Bordner off, makes his play to the quarterback. The sack numbers in recent years maybe not quite what we've been used to from Willie Jefferson, but still finding plenty of ways to impact the game.
1 sack on the season coming into this one. So Julian, the punter for Edmonton. Second punt of the game for him. Trey Babel down at the Winnipeg 10. And he eludes a couple of tacklers before he goes down at the 20. Justin Pace coming in on that special teams tackle. We just heard Zach Collaros talking to Danielle Bain. Hey, that offense, 40, has endured a couple of costly fumbles, a couple of missed field goals, but he did still drive him back to get back in at the end of the half.
Yeah, big finishing drive, closing out that first half for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. No surprise to see Tim White, his first year in blue and gold, coming up with the touchdown reception. Zach Collaros and Tim White, a couple of guys that have played for new Winnipeg offensive coordinator Tommy Condell previously in Hamilton.
Setting up a screen, Oliveira takes it and ahead of steam afterwards as he gets it up to about the 25. By the way, for Tim White, that was his second touchdown catch at the end of the second of the season in Winnipeg.
Talked a lot about Justin Rankin and that race, that chance to be a 1,000 guy, 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. Brady Oliveira, a guy historically who's been in that conversation a little bit as well.
Deep shot, Collaros. He was looking for Dembski. Jalen Garnes was right with him, stride for stride. Close, but no. And a third down coming up as the Bombers will have to kick it away.
Looking for Dembski on kind of a thin corner type route here. Nice job there by Jalen Garnes.
Jamison Sheehan just outside his 10. Javon Lee taking it at the Elk 40. Cuts it back to the right. Got something going here, midfield, and down inside the Bombers 50. Good place for Cody Fajardo in that Elks offense to start. How about Justin Rankin? Mentioned he's gone over 100 yards early in the second half. But look at what he did in that first half.
Wouldn't it be quicker for us to take a look at what he didn't do
yeah,
in the first half? A little bit of everything from number 5 in green and gold, Justin Rankin. Some powerful runs where he's breaking tackles in traffic. You see the speed as he gets to the outside. Always potential game breaker.
A lot of fist bumps for what he's been doing. And again, just a few yards that time, well below his average as he tries to feel his way through. But he talked to Danielle about the patience that he's tried to use this season, and you have seen the payoff as he waits to see wherever he can find an opening. Michael Fletcher along the defensive front there for Winnipeg, and not much there for Rankin. The shortest carry, just a yard. That'll tear the old average down a few notches since it had been so high. Bombers fans getting fired up. Looking for a stop. Fajardo has time. And off to the left, underneath it's Rankin. And they have defended Justin Rankin very well for the last couple of plays. He doesn't get anything there. Maybe a yard, but 2 short plays and a third down and long coming up, and Jake Julian coming out to punt it away.
Yeah. We've talked about the importance of rallying to the football to manage Justin Rankin, but this is a pretty terrific one-on-one tackle in space by number 32, Michael Griffin. Guy who's something of a jack of all trades in that Blue Bomber defense, starting at the nickel linebacker spot tonight.
Jake Seresna offensive linemen not in that series. We saw Michael Fletcher, and the punt there by Jake Julian, and heads into the end zone, but out, and no point to show for it there, as Winnipeg will come back on with Zach Collaros. 11 of 17 for 160 and a touchdown right there to Tim White. It's a 9-point ball game early in the second half in Winnipeg. Mogensen was returning, and you see Wilson going down, and he left the game right there trying on the tackle, and he rolled, and there you see Wilson leaving the game and lower body injury and will not be back in this game. And Jake Serezna on defense had left earlier in the last series. He was not on the field. The Bomber offense is on the field right now, as Mike O'Shea would love to see something get going again for Winnipeg the way they did late in the first half in a 10-play drive that ended up with a touchdown. Oliveira, so he sifts his way through as a helmet comes off for the Elks and looks to pick up about 5 yards, push it up to the 45.
And you're going to see tight end Dante Daniels in this one in fullback mode. He's going to be the lead blocker on this play for Brady Oliveira.
Five more for Oliveira to get his total up to 54. Already under 9 minutes to go until three-quarter time. Second possession of this second half for Winnipeg. Pressure coming. Collaros under heat. Ball comes out as well. And does this end up in the hands of the Edmonton Elks? It does. Another costly turnover for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers as Edmonton takes over around the Bomber 35. That heat was coming, and Collaros just could not get rid of it soon enough.
Yeah, you're going to see the rush coming from that offensive left side. Noah Taylor beats the extra offensive lineman Ethan Vibert. Bit of a challenge when you get into different formations and you're pass protecting. You're essentially asking a backup guard to block a defensive end.
Play action pass over the middle of Todd. Right away to Cephas, and a flag out in the Edmonton backfield. That would be enough for a first down pending the penalty.
Just going back to the previous play in the fumble where normally it's your
foul,
tackles.
roughing the passer, Winnipeg number 99. This will be a 15-yard penalty, a full 15, first down.
As announced by the referee Andre Prue, Cameron Lawson, Dwayne, called here for roughing the passer.
Yeah, number 99 defensive tackle. Cam Lawson manages to get through. Little bump there. A little bit late. Tried to make it look like he was holding up, but not really.
Well, here we go for Edmonton. First and goal now, just inside the 10, back to Rankin. First through, ball comes out, and it looks this time like the Bombers have it in Dietrich Nichols. Oh, did Winnipeg need that after they turned it over again? This time, Rankin coughs it up as he was working his way through, and it's Bomber football. Another turnover in this game, and they will start at their 10.
And the Bombers absolutely needed this one with Edmonton in kind of guaranteed points territory. Rankin, as he tries to bounce outside. See Michael Griffin again having an impact. Evan Holm holds him up. Griffin in pursuit gets a hand on that football. Pop it loose. The veteran Dietrich Nichols with the recovery.
That's the second time the Elks have turned it over in this game. The other one on downs right near the Bomber goal line. So first and 10, and off to the right and throwing. Gavin Cobb, it comes out. Picked up by Logan and Kenny Logan Jr. No, they're saying no catch. They're taking it into the end zone. They thought they were letting it play out, but it's ruled no catch by Cobb. Just didn't hang on long enough.
Yeah, just that quick slant. Again, slow motion can be a little deceptive, as it looks like he's got it. But there you see, not even a full step from the time the ball actually gets to him.
We have a challenge coming up here from Mark Killam. Thinking that Cobb hung on to it long enough and that it should be a turnover.
Yeah, if Mark Killam, or more accurately his spotters, saw the first replay, I can certainly see the temptation to challenge them.
Edmonton is challenging the previous play. They believe the pass was completed, fumbled, and immediate recovery by their player. The play will be reviewed.
And bear in mind, it was whistled dead before Logan could get into the end zone, but if they overturn this, it would be Edmonton football deep in the Bombers zone. A decision coming up.
And we'll take one more look at the pass attempt to Gavin Cobb. Bang, bang play off the hands. Here's Andre Proulx.
Upon review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass. Edmonton is charged a timeout, and they're out of challenge. Second down.
Well, Mark Killam went for it, and it would have been great had they got it overturned, because they'd be nice and close to the Winnipeg end zone with a 9-point lead now. So instead, he loses the challenge and the timeout, and it remains Winnipeg football. But they're deep in their zone, scrimmaging at the 10, 2nd and 10. More heat on Collaros, who gets rid of it, but it is shy of the intended receiver, Tim White. And whether blitzing or not, the Elks have done a very good job at getting some pressure on Zach Collaros.
Yeah, they certainly have. That time, Collaros takes a little bit of a shot at the end of the play, but just you see how it affects the accuracy when that pocket is collapsing on him. He's unable to fully step into that throw, put it where he wants, comes up a little bit short. Looking for Tim White. That time it's Tamari Fox supplying the heat.
So Jamison Sheehan inside the end zone about 5 yards, gets it away at the goal line, and a good end-over-end punt. And down to the Edmonton 50 for Javon Leake, who gets flipped up and down, but across midfield and inside the Winnipeg zone. Once again, good field position for the Elks. Well, get ready for a new season of breathtaking spectacle, shocking betrayal, and explosive drama. I'm talking about HBO's House of the Dragon, Dwayne Ford's favorite. Stream now, only on Crave. First and 10, Edmonton. 9-point lead, 2-score game, 3rd quarter. Fajardo rolling to his right, and no, just sends that one out of bounds.
He seems like one of the few plays in this ball game that hasn't been some sort of positive yardage for the Edmonton Elks offensively. Pretty consistent performance for them.
Good excuse to dress up when you go to a Bomber game, any game like that. Faithful out. They've had so many sellouts here at Princess Auto Stadium. Back in this team, 2nd and 10. Willie Jefferson trying to chase down Fajardo, who has to throw that one away. And another good stand by Jefferson. And that Bomber defense is a 2-and-out. And they started in Winnipeg zone, but they're still going to have to punt it.
Yeah, Willie J is the guy who gets this started, number 5 from his defensive end spot. Has Bordner a little bit off balance, going with the inside rush that time around. Forces Cody Fajardo to move to his left.
The snap coming from Bradley Hladek, filling in for the injured Luke Burton, and then off the foot of Jake Julian. Trey Valley takes it out of the air, gets it across the 10 and the 15 and the 20. And then Hladek, the long snapper, helping out Justin Pace with that special teams tackle. One of the greats of all time, the veteran.
He's a Winnipegger through and through. He's only ever known what it's like to be a Winnipegger and play for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So when it was time for him to sign an extension or look at other options, he knew he wanted to remain a Bomber. Throughout the years, both sides have really found that this match is a perfect match. And Brady tells us that in his previous extension, that's when his eyes were really opened to the business side of things. He tells us that it was actually really tough emotionally at points when you feel like you've given so much to an organization. This time, for this extension, he says that the organization couldn't have made things go more smooth. He says that that kind of loyalty really allows him to focus on his game and gives him the motivation to try to bring another Grey Cup back to Winnipeg, guys.
And Danielle, he's on the move again. Good second effort after it looked like they had him after about 5 yards, and tack on more yardage for Winnipeg's Brady Oliveira.
Yeah, Oliveira looking to provide a spark for his team here offensively. It's that good pad level, running through contact at the line of scrimmage, plowing his way to a Bomber first down. And that's critical to me on this possession, that the Bombers at the very least get a couple of first downs and flip the field a little bit. They've been playing basically this entire half in their end, with Edmonton playing short fields and playing with long fields offensively.
Well, it's Gavin Cobb now who finally gets tackled there by Garnes, but another first down closer to midfield, up to around the Winnipeg 47 after that fake to Brady Oliveira, and Cobb takes it.
Yeah, much like we've talked about with Rankin, the opportunity to create space for other players with the impact or the threat of Brady Oliveira in the run game. Get that defensive line, front seven compressing, create a little bit of space out on the edges for that dump off to Cobb.
It was 2 catches, 26 yards, first down, and back to Oliveira. Number 20 gets it across the 50, that much closer to midfield. Heading into that carry at 66 yards. He was the CFL's leading rusher at 1,353 yards back in 2024, where he was also named the most outstanding player in the Canadian Football League. 5 more yards. Tommy Condell's offense.
Yeah, so some tweaks, some different concepts introduced for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers this season, with veteran offensive coordinator Tommy Condell coming over from Ottawa.
Big drive here for Winnipeg. 4-man rush. Has time to just toss it over to Oliveira, who does the rest. Midfield and close to another first down.
And credit Brady Oliveira here just for the awareness, recognizing what he needs to get for the first down after the catch. Got to make at least one miss and fight for that marker. And he just gets it. Oh, just short. Smart, just short.
They do mark it shy by about a foot. So Bryce Perkins, the short yardage quarterback, comes in, stands under center. Let's see if they can officially move the sticks again. This goes to the right. Didn't need much. Trying to ball hawk there. The Elks, but Perkins, first year CFL quarterback there with Winnipeg, and gives way to Collaros, who comes back on. And a key drive again with just under 2 minutes to go until three-quarter time.
And we'll see how the roles may change in that Winnipeg quarterbacking room with the reacquisition of veteran Drew Brown.
Drew Brown coming over in a trade for some significant draft picks, going to the Ottawa Red Blacks, who later signed McLeod Bethel Thompson. But big change, the Red Blacks and the Bombers, and that is caught. That's Tim White with the touchdown in this game for Winnipeg, and it's Garnes pushing him out of bounds. But you know, heading in on the quarterback depth behind Zach Collaros, and they want more assurance. They have Taylor Ellsworth, former Heck Crichton winner, and then Perkins as well.
Good persistence there from Barnes to hang on to the ankle of Tim White long enough to pull him out of bounds, as number 12 was looking to turn on the Jets and get down the sidelines.
2nd and 4. And not much more. Getting it still be a few yards shy as they have a crowd right around the 45. Under a minute to go until three-quarter time. But yeah, to finish that thought, and you mentioned Drew Brown. With Collaros and Brown was his backup for a couple of years and got a few starts actually with Winnipeg before heading off as a free agent to the Ottawa Red Blacks. And now they have him back. More insurance behind Zach Collaros. Castillo comes out. He's missed from 49 and 50. Trying this again from longer. Put down by Sheehan at the 52. Long driving kick is through. Castillo loving that. After the way it went in the first half. It's more of what we're used to seeing out of one of the best distance kickers in the Canadian Football League.
And a clutch one there from Sergio Castillo to finally make this a one-score ball game for the Bombers, who have sort of been held at bay, out of striking distance for much of this ball game after a quick start by the Edmonton Elks.
He had a few over 60 last year with the big leg. He makes it 17-11 as well as he goes 1 for 3 in field goals. So Elks at their 40. Final play, third quarter. It's a one-score game. Fajardo. Oh, off and Cephas goes up and makes a nice catch. Hauls that down to pick up a little over 5 yards. And that is quarter time. For all the momentum Edmonton has had in this game, Winnipeg has been hanging around. And had the better quarter that time around, thanks to that field goal. Heading to the final 15. The Elks still lead it, 17-11. You look at net yards, well, good work by the defenses, but the Bombers had more yards as well in that quarter, 54-48.
Yeah, fighting to try and close the gap. Obviously a game where Edmonton started fast, but not really able to sustain that. We saw them with an advantage, I thought, in terms of field position and kind of opportunities in that third quarter. But the big story to me, an Edmonton turnover when they're in scoring position. You think they also left points on the field in the first half of this ball game when they turned it over on down. So as much as we've talked about the Winnipeg turnovers in this ball game and the points that Edmonton has scored as a result, Winnipeg, because of where they've turned over the ball effectively, has taken points off the board themselves.
That's true. I mean, and you're right. Edmonton's have been certainly costly. Kept this game close. It's 3-2 in turnovers. Winnipeg's copped it up more. Final quarter begins. One-score ball game into the hands of T.J. Luther, who had a catch earlier and was injured, and Dietrich Nichols slow to get up as well now for Winnipeg. Well, that falls incomplete, and it's a third down coming up as the Bombers to get the ball back.
Yeah, Edmonton just looking for a quick hitter right around that first down marker, but Dietrich Nichols, the veteran, reads it, times it up well to get a hand on that football just as it arrives.
And Nichols, the veteran, with Winnipeg for several seasons now, remains on the field getting some attention. His 6th season out of South Florida.
Yeah, you got a great look there at that drive to the football and just, you know, kind of arching his back or neck a little bit on contact, I suspect is the issue for number 1 in blue and gold.
Mentioned in his 6th year, 2-time All-CFL player, and I still remember in his first year, 2021 Grey Cup, when Hamilton was driving down to win it, Jeremiah Masoli trying to get it to Jalen Acklin, and it was Dietrich Nichols making the play at the goal line. Ultimately, in overtime, the Bombers prevail.
The start of a pretty good run for this
has.
Winnipeg team. First of 5 straight trips. Second, I guess, of 5 straight trips.
I guess, yeah, counting 19
with,
yeah, he was used to going to Grey Cups. Some of those other Bombers, too. A run that finally did end last year. There's a punt by Julian. And Babel coming in at the 15. And he just squirms his way through. Leonard Johnson coming in to take him down. Well, the 2026 World Cup rolls along with the final games of the group stage. Norway and France, 3 Eastern. Senegal faces Iraq. And at 8, Cabo Verde facing Saudi Arabia. Uruguay and Spain square off. The nightcap is Egypt taking on Iran. New Zealand versus Belgium. Don't miss all the action, of course, right here on TSN. It's Canada, too, a few days after that. as they move to the knockout stage and taking on South Africa after the loss to the Swiss in the group stage yesterday in Vancouver. And the Winnipeg 22 now. Down by 6. Fourth quarter. Pressure again. They've got him again. That Elks defense has been providing constant heat. Jordan Williams, who forced a fumble of Brady Oliveira back in the first half, has that play.
Yeah, Jordan Williams down in that three-point stance from his defensive tackle spot. Former Toronto Argonaut working the twist with Brinkman. Brinkman occupying a couple of defenders in there to help free up his buddy. He's the penetrator going first. Williams, the looper, coming all the way around to go free.
3 sacks in the night for the Elks defense. Coming in, they only had 1 in their first 2 games. Rising up against Collaros, and that offensive line for Winnipeg throwing here along second down and trying to get by is Tim White after that catch. Trying to elude Nick Dembski on the catch there for the Bombers. Mogensen getting the start in the middle of that Edmonton defense.
Yeah, you'll see Dembski starting off just at the left side of the formation, coming in, giving a look like he's going to block. Chip helping out on the D end. Release out to the flat, able to make 1 miss, but Mogensen sure with the tackle.
Well, this second half has belonged to both defenses. As mentioned, only 4 points scored. High snap, and he does get it away. Sheehan, good job to get that punt away with some pressure coming in. Javon Leake, the 50, another good place to start for the Elks offense near midfield. But as said, just 4 Winnipeg points and none for Edmonton in the second half so far. The Elks trying to improve to 3-0, hanging on to a 6-point lead fourth quarter.
Not exactly a teaching tape in terms of ball security here. Today, both teams struggling a little bit with the turnovers. The Bombers early on falling behind in that battle. Edmonton here in the second half getting in on the act. The Elks also had a turnover on downs in the first half of this ball game. And it makes you wonder now, as we look at this 1-score ball game. Good to see those guys getting a little bit of sun.
Well, not as much now, but say this for the Elks. They want to prove they can win in a game when it's not raining. It has not rained here tonight. The other 2 had for Edmonton. They get the ball back. 6-point lead for Fajardo. And he looks down the field and nobody home. Closest receiver there is Keon Julian Grant, well away. 2nd and 10 coming up.
Sorry, before I was distracted by the guys going tarps off there in the stands. I was just going to say, you've got a 1-score ball game, and you just wonder, you know, with the ball security, the turnover issues, etc., there might be one of those kind of plays that ends up determining the outcome in this ball game.
Well, you look at the stat lines now. Fajardo, 191 yards passing, Rankin 106 yards rushing. Those are close to first half numbers. They haven't done nearly as much here in the second half. Pressure, and Fajardo gets it to Rankin, though. A reception for Rankin, and after the catch, does some good work to get it across midfield, but it is still short of a first down.
A punt situation from an Edmonton perspective here, an opportunity to try and pin Winnipeg deep. The good directional punt from Jake Julian. If their cover team can get down there and contain Trey Vavel, we know that that is a task easier said than done with the CFL's reigning most outstanding special teams player returning.
And the Bomber defense has done an excellent job this half to slow that Edmonton momentum. It's Vavel now. Talk about special teams, and a good return. He gets hit hard by Cordell Jackson, but he's tackled down across the 40. A good return there for Trey Vavel.
Well, listen, you hear us talk all the time in the Canadian Football League about directional punting, right? You're trying to get that ball ideally kind of between the numbers and the sidelines, certainly cutting down the field that you have to cover by directing it. Man, this ball's dead center. And Trey Vavel takes advantage because there's so much uncertainty for the cover team. They've got to spread out that much more. Vavel takes advantage of those wider lanes.
Winnipeg football. Bombers down 6 points. Plenty of time here in the fourth quarter. Toss inside and the sweep there for Tim White. Rounds the corner and not a bad pickup on first down. Second and about 5 coming up here for the Bombers.
Yeah, a little bit of Tommy Condell bread and butter offensively, getting the receivers involved in the run game. When you've got the athleticism of Tim White, you want to find as many different ways as you can to put the ball in his hands.
And call that a gain of 7 actually for White. Good pickup on the first down. The former Hamilton Tiger Cat in his first year in blue and gold. Had been with the Ticats since 2021. 2nd and 3 after that White pickup of 7. Collaros stands in with time, completes it, wide open is Dembski. Found a nice little pocket in the Elks secondary. That'll move the sticks down around the Elks 40.
Yeah, you're going to see Dembski as the free receiver. He's going to work back to the football as he pushes deep here. And I want you to watch as he catches the football, very aware of what the storyline of this game has been. Cover that ball with 2 hands. Take care of that ball security.
Worked it back to the 43. 1st and 10. Throwing again. It's caught. It's Joey Corcoran. Second-year Bomber receiver from Montreal.
Yeah, again, Ontario Wilson out of this football game, which has given Joey Corcoran an opportunity to play some more snaps.
The second year out of New Hampshire, and Joey Corcoran has a catch. 2nd and 1 Perkins. He goes to the right. It pays off. First down and more. Bryce Perkins still going. Great. Short yardage. Long yardage on short yardage. And a big first down for the Bombers on the move.
Yeah, you want to take care of business first, certainly, in the short yardage game. Get the first downs when you have the opportunity. But I love creative play, unpredictable opportunity here. Brady Oliveira sneaks to the outside. He's going to help seal the edge for Bryce Perkins to take this one out to the outside and pick up a big Winnipeg Blue Bomber first down.
A delay between plays with an injured Elks player down on the field right around the Edmonton 15. The ball is down to the 14 of the Elks, and the Bombers getting close to having a chance here to take the lead for the first time in this game. Jordan Williams is the injured player for Edmonton. They tend to him. We'll take a quick break. Fourth quarter in Edmonton. Elks hanging on to the lead. Net offense by the half. What a difference. Explosive first half, conservative second half, and Winnipeg with a lot more in this second half, Dwayne, and on the move right now.
Yeah, big drive here for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. Bryce Perkins keeping it going with a nice little twist on the short yardage play, getting to the outside, putting his team in scoring position.
Converted on the 3rd down and then some, all the way down to the 14 of Edmonton. Looking for a shot at taking the lead. Collaros stands in with time, and off to the right is caught in space. Oliveira breaks a tackle, gets near the goal line. Brady Oliveira, and the touchdown Winnipeg. A point after from taking the lead.
Right play at the right time. When you take a look at this one, take a look at all the room out to the right side of the field when Brady Oliveira shoots out to the flat. He's got nothing but space. This is just easy pitch and catch for he and Zach Collaros. Nobody within 10 yards of him when he catches the football. Brady Oliveira with a little space and a head of steam isn't going to be stopped.
First receiving touchdown of the year, his 2nd touchdown of the season, and a critical one for Winnipeg now. Here at home and trailing the entire game with this moment here from Sergio Castillo that has given Winnipeg their first lead of this game. They go up 18-17, 9 plays, 69 yards in 2.5 minutes. Oliveira the Winnipeg native in his 7th year, firing up the crowd in a couple of ways, scoring that touchdown and then waving the towel.
Oh, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, one of the things that stands out about this team, you know, Rod, we talked about the 5 consecutive Grey Cup appearances. A lot of situations, experiences, whether positive, negative, adversity, success, they've seen it all, right? The veterans on this team have seen it all, been through it all, and survived over the years. So a game like this where they go down early, it's not daunting to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
You're right, and it's shown in the second half. And again, I go back to it, just like Edmonton last week against Montreal. Late in the first half, just how important so far is that Winnipeg touchdown? Did you just have something?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the word you used at the time was momentum. And it has carried them through here into the second half.
So as good as the Edmonton Elks looked in that first half especially, and as good as their defense has been for the most part, except for a couple of long Bomber drives, Edmonton coming in at 2-0. Fajardo and company now trail, albeit by a point with an eternity left. 8 minutes, 14 seconds on the clock. We got a ball game here at Princess Auto Stadium on a Thursday night to start off week 4. Friday night football tomorrow, Toronto and Saskatchewan. Castillo with the kickoff. The Bombers with the lead, and Javon Lee with the ball at the Edmonton 10. Good move to get outside. Up around the 33 is Fajardo. 18-25, 197 yards passing, but most of that coming in the first half.
We talk about teams and players that have seen a lot of different situations and overcome adversity. I think that's very much a description of Cody Fajardo.
Tell you, someone woke up this crowd too, didn't they?
Yeah, they're not going to make it easy for the Elks offense.
Very loud here at Princess Auto Stadium for Fajardo. Handing it off to Rankin. They've done a great job on him in the second half, and they did it again. Cam Lawson getting some help as they wrap up number 5 with such an explosive first half, but gets next to nothing there.
Yeah, this is just a great team effort in terms of run defense. People defeating their blocks at the line of scrimmage, staying in gaps to contain Justin Rankin. Reda Cranby coming down from the secondary from his safety spot to make the play.
Cranby in on that tackle with Lawson helping out, and they lost a few inches. It's second and a little more than 10 yards now for the Edmonton Elks. Flag out. You can see Fajardo clapping his hands, fighting the noise of this crowd, and they couldn't get the ball out in time.
Clock ticks down to 0.
5-yard penalty. Still second down.
There you see, looks like Cody, you see him clapping his hands. He knows time's running out, but just unable to communicate clearly to the guys up front.
And that just fuels this stadium to make more noise now. On the 2nd and 15. Fajardo steps up to escape the heat, and then throwing and caught and catching it is Brendan O'Leary-Orge. A nice play to diffuse this energy too here in Winnipeg by Fajardo, stepping up, completing that pass.
Yeah, Cody buying himself some time and throws an absolute strike while running forward, keeping the run pass option open. Sees O'Leary-Orge working back into that hole. Delivers the fastball.
Gets it right up to the Edmonton 50. Elks trailing for the first time in this game, past the halfway point of the 4th quarter. Off to the right, and Rankin's the closest to it. It falls incomplete.
Misdirection play there with Austin Mack taking sort of a bubble screen route out to the left, trying to pull the defense out that way, and then slipping Rankin out in a more traditional screen to the left side of your screen, offensive right side. But an overthrow there.
Another second and long facing Fajardo in this Edmonton offense. 18-17, under 6 minutes to go. Three-man rush. Jefferson bearing down. Fajardo looks to take off and out of bounds, shy of midfield. A third and long coming up.
As the Winnipeg Blue Bombers gain momentum, so too do their fans. Willie Jefferson, quick swat to the inside. Flushes Fajardo. He's able to escape the pocket, but nowhere near that first down marker.
It was 17-7 at the half. The Bombers have scored 11 unanswered. To lead it by 1 and get the ball back with Valley. Just outside his 5. Trey Valley. And across the 20 he goes with DK Banan. And on another special teams tackle for the Elks. Bombers trying to improve to 2-1. Elks trying to coming out of that extended break, but trying to use it to their advantage now. Probably some fresher legs with Edmonton having played last Saturday in an overtime game. The coach always camera shy, isn't he? That at a long
Perhaps
time.
fearing lip readers, I suspect.
Oh yeah, that would be it. That would be it. The head coach here since 2014. And a couple of Grey Cups. Taking his team to a bunch of them. And running the football with that 1-point lead on first down. Brady Oliveira came into that carry 12 for 73. O'Shea, a Hall of Fame linebacker with the Argos before taking over here in Winnipeg.
And you got to think in this instance, trying to mitigate all risk. Brady Oliveira, who's important at the best of times for this team, becomes absolutely critical.
O'Shea, a player, of course, with the Ticats as well, and the Argos. The story here in Winnipeg is Collaros throws, looking deep, and looking for Tommy Neal, and Terrell Ford was right there with him. Neal in his first year with Winnipeg, having won a Grey Cup last year with the Saskatchewan Roughriders.
And Neal coming out of the slot is going to work to the post. Terrell Ford right with him.
So that drive stalls. And Jamison Sheehan is back at the Winnipeg 10. Under 4 minutes now. As I said, in a 1-point game, still plenty of time. Edmonton to get the ball back and should get it. In good field position. League takes it. It's at the 45. He cuts it back up. Across the 50, close to midfield. And around the 53. Back in the hands of Cody Fajardo, Grey Cup champion with Montreal in 2023, and then later traded by the Owls last year, taking over the top spot at quarterback. Once a teammate of Zach Collaros in Saskatchewan in 2019. Four-man rush, first down, it is caught. Over the middle straight to the Bomber 50, it's Keon Julian Grant again. Just shy of a first down, second and short coming up.
Going back as we take a look at this last play, you'll recall it was an injury to Zach Collaros that opened the door for Cody Fajardo to become a starter in the Canadian Football League. Got the opportunity and excelled, and tried to run with it ever since. Starting last season as a backup and then eventually emerging as a starter.
And now Fajardo looking to defeat Collaros and the Bombers. 3-minute warning. 1-point game, and Edmonton has the ball. fell by as many as 13 points, but they came back. They took the lead, actually, ranking a big part of that in the second half, and ultimately it was the Alouettes who came back, forced overtime, and then this, Fajardo with the touchdown to win it. The walk-off winner in OT as the Elks improved to 2-0 for the first time since 2019. Now trying to go to 3-0 for the first time since 2017. Mark Killam in his second year as the head coach of this team. 3 minutes on the clock. Edmonton has the ball in a second and short in the Bombers zone down to the Winnipeg 47. Here we go, short yardage, Cole Snyder. A touchdown in this game, and he's got a push there for a first down as well. Sticks will move. Fajardo will come back on. He has engineered, come from behind victories before in his career. Started with the Argos and later went to BC, and you talked to Forty about his time with Saskatchewan, Montreal, and now Edmonton. The Elks offense on the field. They're making some noise here in Winnipeg again. 2:45 and counting. First and 10. It's caught by Julian Grant, who has been so reliable on the night. Down to the 35, and another first down for the Elks.
Yeah, Julian Grant working out of the slot, doing a nice job going down to get this when it's thrown in kind of an awkward place. Like when you look at his hand position, not the strongest position to catch that ball.
Fajardo stays in on the second and short yardage. He goes left and he picks up the first down. But yeah, Julian Grant's been a favorite target. 6 targets, 5 catches for 76 yards.
A guy who seems to be playing with a lot of confidence. Again, coming off a career high in terms of both catches and yardage last season. His first in Edmonton.
They're certainly in range to take the lead again. Got a first and 10 at the Winnipeg 32. Still lots of time. Throwing quickly to Julian Grant again. Just fires it in as he gets it inside the 30 and second down ahead. Inside the 25.
Get to your spot, sit it down. Cody knew he was going to KJG all the way.
Fajardo in again and running. And it looks like he picks up another first down. Indeed he does, down closer to the 20.
Yeah, Edmonton doing a pretty good job here. Again, situationally, eating up the clock. They feel like they're in a pretty good position to put some points on the board. At this point, part of the consideration is giving Winnipeg as little time as possible to respond.
1:46 and counting, but you're right. Sure, they'd love a touchdown, but they'd love to just work this clock down. Even if it means a field goal, that's just fine. If they can get it down near the 0. Throwing again. That is caught. It's Austin Mack. He had to regroup to make sure he had the handle on the ball, which might have cost him a couple of yards. He turns it up and gets it inside the 15.
Yeah, very nearly a drop here, but Mack stays with it.
Timeout, Winnipeg.
Yeah, kind of had to give up any hopes of regaining his footing to make sure he held on to that football.
That got it right down around the 15. Needed to get to the 11 for first down. So we got second down and a few yards away. Ball just inside the 15-yard line. Inside the 10, it'll be a first and goal coming up for the Edmonton Elks.
A nice execution by the Elks on this one. So you're going to see a couple of blocks from the other receivers out there. Cephas ends up ducking back underneath.
think of the frustration of the Edmonton Elks, especially in recent times, starting their season without any victories, trying to get it going by midseason. With a chance to start this season 3-0. Pressure, gets rid of it, and no, Matt wanted to turn it up and didn't secure the ball. Falls incomplete, second and goal ahead at the Bomber 8.
Yeah, this will go down as a drop, but when you look at Austin Mack, it looked like he had kind of sat down in what he felt was an open spot to throw. Pulled him outside a little bit. That's why he looks like he's kind of reaching or lunging to try and get out there. He had sat down a little bit closer to the middle of the field.
Edmonton's in position to take the lead. They want a touchdown. Want to kill some clock. 56 seconds. End zone long. Touchdown. TJ Luther has it. And the Edmonton Elks are back in front.
This is terrific execution for the Edmonton Elks, not just in terms of moving the football and putting the ball in the end zone, but in terms of soaking up the clock along the way. Good protection up front, nice throwing lane. Luther with Dietrich Nichols on his shoulder, pulls that one in. Channeling Gizmo Williams on the celebration.
I was going to say, full marks for the backflip too. TJ Luther, first year at a Gardner-Webb in North Carolina, and his first CFL touchdown, capping off a 10-play, 57-yard drive. They're going for two. And no, looking for Mack, a little bit behind, falls down. So a 5-point game, and wisely going for two, of course, because the 6-point lead wouldn't make a difference at this point because the Bombers need a touchdown anyway.
Here you see tight window with Nichols closing, but Cody Fajardo threads the needle to TJ Luther for the go-ahead score.
Mark Killam can't always suppress the emotions. Not in a situation like that.
Yeah.
Or that.
Yeah.
TJ Luther
Stuck the landing.
Receiver and gymnast. As he accepts congrats on the sideline. Well, back in week 1, Calgary scored a late touchdown to take the lead over Winnipeg, and they still had lots of time left, about a minute to go, but they only needed a field goal then, and they drove down and got it from Castillo to win their opener. This time they need a touchdown. 53 seconds.
In terms of that door being open, obviously Edmonton going for two, looking to make it a 7-point game where you're theoretically, you give up a touchdown, kick, convert, playing for overtime. Well, now, it leaves the door open for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers to go ahead with that touchdown.
A year ago, Trey Vavel was the top special teams player in the CFL, but it's Michael Chris Ike just ahead of steam, north-south, puts the head down, and a good return for Chris Ike. Up across the 45, and Caleros and the Bombers offense on now with 47 seconds to go, needing to go all the way to the end zone.
Yeah, it worked out pretty well for Winnipeg on that return. Obviously, usually you want to put the ball in the hands of Trey Vavel. He was trying to get over there, but Chris Ike did the right thing to make sure that that ball, if he wasn't sure if Vavel could get there, make sure that ball doesn't get on the ground, catch it on the air, just get north-south. Good field position here to start off.
Here we go, Winnipeg. Blitz coming. They get to him. Can he get away? Well, he does get rid of the football. It is caught, too. Great work by Caleros under a lot of pressure. It's Tommy Neal coming back to the ball. They only pick up a couple of yards, but a lot better than what it could have been.
Yeah, Edmonton, which has dialed up the pressure multiple times in this ball game, flushes Caleros, eats up some time on the clock for a very short game.
2nd and 8, though. So underneath, Oliveira, first down. Watch the clock, just under 30 seconds as he gets it into the Edmonton zone down to the 50. 29 seconds. Zach Caleros trying to engineer another come-from-behind victory. Working quickly. Little pump fake. They've got him. Ball is out. It's picked up by Big Gabe Wallace, their left guard. As Caleros put it down as he was being sacked.
The proves huge for Edmonton on this play, because when you look, Nick Dembski is going to find himself open working across the field here, but the pressure is going to get to Collaros before he has an opportunity to step up and see that one. Given the choice, I think you're going to put the ball in Dembski's hands before you're going to put it in Gabe Wallace's hands in this situation.
Usually that'd be the call, but they picked up some yardage, and that goes in the hands of Brady Oliveira again on that short pass just inside the 40, but only 10 seconds to go. Close to the Hail Mary range. See how they want to play this.
Yeah, wouldn't you like to have Ontario Wilson in the lineup when you need to take a deep shot?
He had to leave the game in the first half. And injured.
Loading up 4 receivers out to the left.
Here we go. Underneath. Trying to get down is Tim White. 4 seconds on the clock, so it'll set up one final play. A little bit closer, 4 yards closer, down to the, they spotted actually just outside the 38 and right up over it for the final play. Whistled in. Collaros. Underneath. Down to the 10, and that's it. Final play. They got within 10 yards, but not close enough for Mark Killam and the Edmonton Elks. Edmonton has gone to 3-0 for the first time since 2017. First place in the West Division.
Another clutch performance from Cody Fajardo. The veteran quarterback manages to, in a second half of struggles, manages to come up with a big drive down the stretch to take the lead. Saw Winnipeg's last gasp. Unable to punch it in. Mark Killam and his general manager Ed Hervey celebrating the first Edmonton 3-0 start since 2017.
Frustration for Mike O'Shea. They come out of the bye, but no. Jordan Maximic, the Edmonton Elks, and celebrate that, and 2 great running backs chatting it out after this game. Justin Rankin really admiring Brady Oliveira, and a great first half for Justin Rankin. Got near 100 yards, not as much in the second. He got up to 106 on 15 carries and a touchdown, but still a big factor in helping this Elks team stay unbeaten. Friday Night Football tomorrow from Mosaic. The Argonauts up against the Rough Riders, who will try to match Edmonton. Victory for victory in that ever competitive West Division. It's like a new kid in town in the West. The Edmonton Elks. Thanks for watching. SC with